All right, so I'm going to be traveling soon. I'm going to be abroad. And of course, I have so many nice basses I really like, but I can't take them all with me. But what that meant is I thought now is a good time to do like a little intro video to the basses that I have. They've changed a lot, even over the last year, but I think the set that I have right now, I like a lot for different reasons. But let's do a quick intro. I'll show you all the different ones that I have right now, and let me know which ones you guys like most in the comments. Maybe you have some of these. Let me know what you like. But let's get started. Let's jump right in. Also here I have a bonus bass. It's not really anything at the moment. It's not a specific brand. It's a project bass that I worked on. We'll come back to that at the end, but you have to stay to the end to see that one. We'll leave it right here so that you remember the entire time. All right, let's get started. Okay, so first up here I have this Charvel Dimas Pro Mod. This bass, I actually had two of them in the last year, I guess. I had two at one point. I had first bought the black one. Randomly, I found it somewhere at like a Guitar Center, and I really liked it. I really like the neck on these basses. I think it's one of the best necks on a bass right now. Price-wise, it's also not the most expensive. It's got pretty good value for the money that you get for it. The only thing that happens, I think, that has been a known kind of issue on these basses is the preamps can be a bit tricky. Maybe some of you know that. You can also let me know in the comments. What I did anyway in the end was I wound up swapping this preamp for an Aguilera preamp, and since then it's been super great. I really like it. So I had some issues. It was an unfortunate story where I had bought it and I was super excited about this bass, and I took it to a rehearsal and it crapped out. It was a majestic failure, really, in the rehearsal. Luckily, it has a push-pull swap to passive, so I could play it, but that was not good. So otherwise, I love this bass. It's a great bass. Also, what I usually do on most of my basses, I put hip shots on the 4 strings. Not all of them, but some of them, because from time to time, if you play pop punk, if you play anything even slightly heavier, it's also useful to have like an access to a drop D if you don't want to play a 5-string or if you don't carry a 5-string. So super helpful, really great bass, one of my favorites. Let's move on to the next one. All right, this one here, also a really cool bass. Reverend is a brand that makes awesome instruments, super light, very, very light, has an amazing sound. Really a lot of output here. It's totally passive. This is the Reverend Thundergun. It's a set neck, right? So you see all the way through, which is pretty cool. Again, here, as I mentioned, I put a hip shot on it. That was the only thing I changed on this bass, was just that additional hip shot. It is, again, one of my favorites. Right now, the strings I have on here are super polished by Labella, which are also great. They're a little bit sticky, but otherwise a nice kind of mix between flat wound and round wound. This bass I ended up picking up on eBay, actually, from Sweetwater. They had like a special offer, and then I was able to even discount it further. So I think now they're like 1,000 or a little bit over 1,000. I think I got it for $600 or something like that. It was super good. I played this one quite a lot when I first got it. I still play it. The one maybe downside that I'm a bit, it makes it a bit difficult sometimes is that this has kind of the tilted headstock, like you can see here. And so it fits really well in the Reverend case, but sometimes I'm a bit worried in a normal bass case or gig bag that this is not really meant for this. There's not a lot of space for that, and I worry a little bit about that. So that's my one concern. Otherwise, it's a great bass. It's nothing about the bass. It's just a little bit about the transportability if you don't have a Reverend specific case for that. Yeah, and that's this bass. So let's take a look at the next one. All right, so in the last year, I would say especially this year, I started to really look at Laklands, and I really like Laklands. I've become a really big fan of having a Music Man pickup humbucker in the bridge position. I don't know what it is about the sound. I really like it, kind of like a Stingray, but I could never really get behind the Stingray fully So far, that can change. I've played a few more recently that I've really liked. But the other thing that I noticed by playing so many basses is like the things that I like and what I don't like. So one thing, of course, is like what I just mentioned, is this kind of Music Man pickup here in the bridge. But the other thing are the vintage thin frets. If you play Fenders, if you play most basses, they come with like medium or jumbo frets, which are a bit thicker. I've really started to like and appreciate like banjo or mandolin frets, very thin, vintage, smaller frets, super comfortable. So it's just something that then I found out by trial and error. It's kind of like where I tend to pick up a bass and really like it. It has either that type of fret, it has this type of pickup configuration. I also like the active passive. I like the option of both. Sometimes I appreciate an active sound, not that I overuse it or boost it very high, but I like a little bit more of the clarity, especially in the mids. Yeah, and Lakland definitely does it. Super comfortable neck. It's not overly heavy. It's actually not my heaviest bass for sure. And again, I put a hip shot on it. I swear, at this point I should have bought stock in hip shot. I think I've bought so many of them over the years. But anyway, another great bass. This is a Lakland 4402, right? So the 4401 has kind of the two soap bar pickups here. The 4402 has the Music Man and the jazz style pickup. And in the Skylines, I think in the past they may have been Bartolini's, especially in the USA made. These that are made in Indonesia and then finished in Chicago have the kind of American made pickups, specifically from Lakland, so they don't use Bartolini's anymore. But another great bass. Really like this one. Okay, this one, a really, really cool bass. I don't know, I had a period where I really wanted something gold. I wanted a gold bass. And G&Ls I really liked. I had, previous to this, an ASAT bass, but it was super heavy, the slab body. It was a little bit older. It was nice, it had a thinner neck, but I always really liked the G&L kind of, the double pickups here with the MDF, right? Like the special pulls and the active passive. So I picked this one up. This is a little bit different from a standard L-2000. This is the E series, so it has the curved headstock, which I also really like. I don't know why, it's like a preference thing as opposed to having like the sharp kind of point on the G&L basses. This one is a really great player. It feels really great. The sound is also good. Passive, active, right, that you can use in the special circuitry for G&L. I won't go into too much detail about that stuff because it's not the purpose of the video. But if you've ever played a G&L or a G&L 2000 specifically, you'll know. Really cool bass. I'm a little bit sad to leave this one behind. So, as you know, based on that, this one is not coming with me. But I look forward to playing it at some point when I get back. And again, hip shot, because why not? All right, moving into Fender, into the Fender era, right? Of course, there has to be a couple of Fenders. This is my JMJ road-worn Mustang, which I've played on a few different things. I wanted a Mustang, a short scale bass, to have one, but I also really like, of course, this specific combination of flat ones with the Mustang pickups and the kind of vibe and the feel of this. I use this mostly for recording some things in the background. I don't take it out so much, but I really like the sound on recordings, so that's mostly what I use it for. Another really cool bass, also very light, but also, as you see, I'm not the smallest person, and so I think playing this live might look a little bit weird. But playing it at home is really nice. And a good bass when I want to try to convince my partner to play bass, because it's smaller. Okay, this one here. This is the Fender mic Dirnt Precision Signature Road Worn. I really like this style of precision bass with this headstock, with the Telecaster headstock. I always wanted one. I just don't like the mudbuckers or the mudbucker within the normal kind of standard 70s or earlier Telecasters that have the slab body. Slab body, to be honest, is also not my favorite, just because, as you know, it's a bit uncomfortable and it's just very heavy. This is probably my heaviest, if not my heaviest bass. I've used this live also. It's passive, right, standard P pickup configuration, so it's also useful for a lot of things. The only thing I changed on this was that I had put in, which pickups are these? The Seymour Duncan quarter pounders. It has a nice sound, even by itself, even when just by itself, without even being plugged in, which is cool. So like the weight of the body kind of helps with the sustain and the overall tone, but really cool bass. The neck is also not terribly thick, as you would find on like standard Telecaster necks, where it's kind of super chunky in the back. Not the case, but really cool bass. One of my favorites. Also one of the first ones I bought in the more recent times. So this kind of started my kick on getting back into bass and getting different types of basses. So yeah, that's my Fender Mike Dirnt Road Worn. Another cool bass. Okay, so this one is a little bit special. So this is a Fender 1978 precision bass. This is actually the second one I've owned. So the story behind that, I had one that was given to me as a gift when I was still in high school. And unfortunately, I was young and stupid and didn't appreciate it. And I needed money, I think, at one point, and I sold it like an idiot. So one thing I wanted in the last year or so is I wanted to try to get a hold of that instrument again. Like, I couldn't find that specific one, but I was able to get a hold of this one, which is also pretty cool. So it's a 78 Fender Precision bass. Again, it has a hip shot. I don't think I need to say it anymore, on the 4-string. And I like this bass. I don't take it out so much. I use it again mostly for recording, sometimes in the studio, things like that. It's actually, now that I'm feeling it, even lighter than the Mike Dirnt bass, which is kind of crazy. Because the 70s, the basses were absolutely ridiculously heavy, absolutely humongous. But this one is pretty good. The weight is nice. It has a good feel to it. On this one, I have the original pickups. They were a bit weird, so I ended up swapping it to the Fender Cobalt to try them out, something a bit different, and a badass bridge, because if you have a 70s bass, you have to put a badass bridge on it. Apparently, I was told. I swear. So that was what I did here. But I've had this also on the bass that I used to have on that 78 before. And I think on most Fender basses, whenever I've gotten it, I've ended up putting a badass bridge on it. Yeah, but that's my one vintage bass that I have at the moment, this 78P bass. Yeah, let's move on. Okay, so this bass is one of my absolute favorites. This is a Sandberg VM4 bass. This is made in Germany. It's super light. The body is actually pretty thin, or thinner than you would expect, or that you see on some of these other basses. And the neck is very thin. This, I picked it up randomly, right? It's in this kind of road worn, beat up orange color. I don't know, I think a lot of people have issues with the kind of the vintage relic style stuff. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, right? You can hate it. I don't necessarily have an opinion on it. I noticed that when I have a relic body, I care a little bit less, like if I bang it or something like that. It doesn't really bother me. I don't know, it hurts a little bit less, let's say. It bothers me, but it hurts a little bit less if I bang it up or if I dent it or something like that, because it's kind of already beat up, which is nice. And I don't know, I feel like it's kind of like having insurance. You take more chances. This bass has a really nice tight sound. I was super surprised actually when I first bought it, or when I first played it, that the output seemed very low. But then looking into it and playing it more, I don't know, it like grew on me and it started to make total sense that the output is a little bit lower, but it's very tight, it's very clean. The preamp is very clean. It doesn't make a lot of noise. It's also push-pull active, right? So it has both things. One thing I forgot to mention on the Charvel, this year especially, I've started to really like the kind of the reverse P sound. So this has here instead of here, right? This kind of flipped P, that I really like. And again, the Music Man in the bridge. What you notice again, right? Like I start to really like having the humbucker here in the bridge for that sound, that kind of hunk. Really a really cool bass. This one is obviously coming with me on the road. So I will pack this one up in the flight case that you can't see over there to make sure that it makes it with me to Europe. And that's this one. Good. There are 2 more plus a bonus. I promise the bonus, it's going to come. But let's then jump into that one. Okay, so this is my Dingwall D-Roc 5. I was not, as you can tell by the majority of my basses, I was not a big 5-string player. I didn't play 5 almost any time in the past. I always just had the hip shot in case I needed drop D. But the last few months as I was on tour and I was on the road, I realized playing through the music, right, playing a combination of covers and originals, that I needed the low B. I needed to get that low string. And so I ended up picking up not this Dingwall, but a different Dingwall. This D-Roc I picked up recently because I really like the color, of course. I really like the color, but I wanted a 37-inch scale to try it at least for a little bit. I've had it. I'm going to play it actually today on a show, on a gig. For the first time, I will take it out. Not just this one, but also a different one. And I'll let you know how it goes. But I've been playing it the last few days. I've been playing it along. It feels good. It's a bit of an adjustment, the longer scale, I feel like, for the wrist. But otherwise, I like that I have a lot of access up here to the higher frets with the shape of the body. The body is pretty thin, but it is heavy. It has built-in strap locks recessed into the body, which is cool. Not my favorite usually. I prefer having one type of strap system, right? And I use the Rocket usually, or the Rock Lock on my straps, because then I can use it for every bass. I don't have to change the setup, and I don't prefer really the strap locks here on that. But that's the only thing. The bass sounds great. Otherwise, it's totally passive with 3 setup. I saw some things online about swapping like these two so that you can have a jazz sound with these 2 and then all 3, right? Right now, I think you can do just this, and all 3, but you can't do like first and third. I look into stuff like that. I'm a little bit nerdy, but not an immediate thing I need to do. So this is my Dingwall D-Roc 5. Really good. Really cool bass. Let's move on to the next Dingwall. So this bass has pretty much taken over. This is the Dingwall SP1. They just came out recently in the last month and a half or so. This one came out and directly went on tour with me. You can tell, I can see by the by some of the dents that I've already put in it from being on the road for the last month. But it's been super good. The sound is really tight. It's not the full 37 as the other Dingwall. It's slightly shorter, but I don't really notice it, especially on the low B. I tried a lot of 5 strings right before I left because I realized I needed one. I tried Laklands, and not to diss on Lakland. I love Lakland basses, but I think the ones that I got, unfortunately, were really beat up from Guitar Center, and pickups felt like they were low output. They were not working. The neck was weird. There was buzzing. It was just not a good setup. This one, as soon as I got it out of the box, it was great. The sound is great. The feel is great. It's super comfortable. There's a slight adjustment, of course, with fan frets anyway, and a 5 string. So 2 things that I needed to adjust to rather quickly as I went on tour. But the sound is really cool. Here again, I have, it's a PJ setup, right? So precision and a jazz. You have a few different modes here with the rotor. I'm trying not to go too deep into that stuff because that's not the point of it. But I really like this bass. So this is, of course, the other one that is coming with me. So it will be this 5 string and the Sandberg that's right behind me, this 4 string, this orange metallic beat up bass. Those 2 are coming with me. And that's it. That's the main set of my bass collection, if you stayed around this far. Wait a minute. There's one more thing. I forgot the bonus bass in this bag over here. Let's do that. So, this one. What's in the bag? Yeah, let's not go into that. This was actually a project bass. I guess it still is a project bass, really, because I'm still working on it, I guess, a little bit. It's semi-functional, but I think I will need to have it looked at. There's some cosmetic things I want to do to it, but let's go ahead and take a look at it. This project bass. So I'm a big fan of, or was a big fan of, kind of Gibson G3s. I had a Gibson G3. Unfortunately, it was not the best, and I had to get rid of it. I didn't have to get rid of it, but I thought it was at least the cost was not worth keeping it. I would rather reinvest that in a bass I'm going to play, right? Despite that it's a vintage bass, I decided to sell it. But I really like the setup, and as you saw, I have the Mike Dirnt bass, so he played a G3. I really like that, and so I decided to kind of project my own G3, and I decided to do it in this kind of body of a Fender jazz bass. It's actually a Squire. So this I picked up off of Guitar Center online. I really like $100. Somebody had already bastardized it pretty much. They put 3 pickups, they didn't wire it, they did all kinds of things, and then I was like, let's try to do it. And so I created this J3, basically. So these are the Curtis Novak G3 pickups. Right, I basically measured and took all of the technical specs from a G3 to see how far from the bridge, how far from the neck, right, in order to get a similar placement. I had to custom make this pickguard. So I bought basically a pickguard sheet, traced out the shape of what would make sense here, and then made the pickguard, cut it out by hand. The electronics, I did all the electronics, right, I did the switch. It works, kind of. I think it's not perfect. There's some grounding issues and things that need to be looked at, but it's not bad. I think a little bit more effort and it will be in good shape. I have the tuning keys on here, are actually badass. The neck actually wasn't with this body. It had a rosewood neck, but I broke it while I was trying to put the original tuners in that I wanted. And I think when this one is finished, it will be a pretty cool bass. I'm going to paint the body black as well, I think, so that it has kind of the matching black headstock, black body, because the tone or this kind of color of neck and the wood is not exactly what I wanted. I wanted to have kind of really the same vibe as the G3, but we can also do the black version. So yeah, that's the bonus project bass that if you stuck around long enough, you got to see this as well. And yeah, so that's everything. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe if you have comments, if you have questions, if there's anything you'd like to see, let me know. I love to hear feedback. And that's it. Have a good day.